Hi everyone, so it's Rosemary again with another one of these groundwork laying mini videos in the lead up to my YouTube channel, The Mind of the Writer, which I plan on launching in about a month's time. So you'll remember last time that I was talking about one of the main things that I wanted to do in this channel, which was to look at behaviors which are toxic off page and then look at how those translate on page and how a writer might have to practice some of those things or do some of those things on page and examine that and look at all of that through through the lens of the creation of fiction. But when we talk about that dynamic, there's so many other related topics that come up that I'm really excited about sharing, and I'm excited to explore. And so these groundwork laying videos are fairly informal. I'm just talking in front of the camera. I haven't rehearsed and I don't have a written list in front of me, but I'm going to do my best to share some of those topics that I'm interested in. So I am really interested in how writers detach from reality in order to enter that virtual fictional world, and then how writers exit that reality to reground themselves in the off-page world. And from experience, I know that when I'm in the thick of writing stories or fiction and for days on end, that I have been accused of being a little bit emotionally detached because my mind is so in the story. And so I think that it will be very, very practical to learn techniques to reground yourself when you're exiting that very intoxicating fictional world, to come back down to the sort of the off-page, your off-page domestic reality. I'm really interested in the relationship between the writer and the reader. And this to me is just a wonderful relationship because it does defy space and time. And if you have a writer in any time period that is pumping their characters full of emotion, and then in another country, in another time period, the reader is receiving that emotion and they're feeling it. It's a really strong bond between the writer and the reader, and both are detaching from their domestic realities in order to experience the art or experience that fictional world. And that's something that I'm just really excited to explore that. I'm also interested in the ethics of writing. And are there topics that writers should not be writing about? Is that different for every writer? I know that there's certain things that I won't write about, but because I write fairly explicitly, there's definitely things that I will write about, and I know that other writers might not touch that. But I think that censorship and what we're free to write about and what maybe we shouldn't be free to write about. And I don't know the answers to these questions, but I really think that they're interesting things to explore. When it comes to looking at the behaviors off page and on page, well, I'm fascinated by how things change when you shift from the off-page world to the on-page world. So, for example, what is the difference between a limerent object? And a limerent object is a person that you're obsessed with, and you sort of fantasize about in your mind, but you'll never have them, not really. And a muse, is there a difference, or is one okay and one isn't okay? And what's the difference between narcissistic behavior off page and then on page, being a sort of godlike, omniscient author and moving your characters around and manipulating them in any way you see fit to lead them to their deaths. I just think that these subjects are just super fascinating, and I'm really excited to be exploring them on the channel. I've spent quite a lot of time coming up with some theories, and I plan on sharing those theories with you, psychological theories. And I guess the last thing I'll say, I'm super interested in how art, the creation of art, this is a little bit more general because it can expand beyond, beyond fictional stories, is a healer when it comes to mental health. And I know that we, in all the videos I watch and all the material I read, we're exposed to all the sort of heavyweight remedies for mental health issues. But again, I rarely hear anyone talking about the creation of art and creativity and writing as one of those healers. And I think that that's really worth exploring, because the creation of art can be a hugely cathartic experience when it comes to dealing with mental health. So I plan on interviewing writers. I plan on sharing some of my theories with you, and yeah, just really, really excited to move forward with this channel.